Call of Duty is back. Well, at least that's what I heard, so I decided to dive in no life into this beta and write a bunch of notes for all of the OG Call of Duty fans that are wondering if they should buy this game too. For those of you that are skeptical, I definitely don't blame you because I myself am very skeptical. I actually just got off of a 10-month hiatus of not playing any Call of Duty games at all and exploring other games.
It was the best time ever.
So that raises the question, is Call of Duty back? Am I back? Are you back? Are we gonna start this again? Well, during this video, I realized something, and that Call of Duty multiplayer is not quite the same, and it never will be the same. It's almost a puzzle piece to the bigger picture of the franchise of Call of Duty now. Still have Warzone, DMZ, COD Mobile, multiplayer, all of these games and all of these new entities. Call of Duty is essentially like the Walmart of gaming now. They may not get the best product, but they're trying to be pretty much everything, and they got a lot of moving parts. Multiplayer disappoints me. I'm really hoping that Warzone sticks up for it. So what I'm saying is I'm not as emotionally invested in this game as I once was when I was playing Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. Is that a bad thing? I don't know, but let's dive in. I've been seeing a lot of people complaining that Modern Warfare 3 does not have any new or original maps. And at launch, I don't see a problem with that at all. In fact, it was kind of refreshing playing on maps that I already know and have map knowledge of. In a beta, it was kind of cool. Not only that, but there's franchises out there like CSGO that live off of maps like Dust and Mirage because they're just absolute staples to the franchise. And if they got removed, then it would be kind of weird. It's like, why'd you take it out if it already worked? And that's kind of how I'm viewing this. Call of Duty has maps that we know work. You've got your Terminal, you've got your Invasion, your Karachi, all of these great maps that are thrown in here with High Rise and all the OGs. What's wrong with that? As long as they add new maps throughout the game's shelf life, I don't see that there's even slightly an issue with that at all. Call of Duty is consistently burdened with having to reinvent the wheel every single year. And when new maps come, everybody say they suck. And when old maps come, everybody says that they're lazy. But personally, I like the old maps. But if they add some new maps throughout the shelf life of this game, I'll be extremely happy. As well as maps from older Call of Duties as well. I mean, Sledgehammer is making a Modern Warfare game. I'm wondering if we're just bending and breaking rules and they'll allow Black Ops maps, Warfare 2, COD 4, and other maps from other games that they just never had inside of the MW franchise. I'm wondering how far we will go with that, but I hope it goes all the way because it works. Giving us what works is always going to make us happy, and then giving us new while we're already happy is just going to make us happier. So anybody that's complaining about getting all the old maps, I do understand that it probably should have happened in Modern Warfare 2 because, I mean, that just makes sense. But asking Call of Duty to make sense does not make sense. Also, map voting is back, and we're going to get into that in a little bit, along with other features that they put back in the game. But put a fork in that for now, and I'm just going to compliment them for now and just say, even in the 24-hour playlist for High Rise, it even lets you pick what game mode you want, which is sick. I mean, like, whoever took democracy out of Call of Duty, you need to reevaluate yourself, brother.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get into the equipment, and there is some equipment that kind of bothers me that I really don't even think belongs inside of the game, like an actual like posted up system that's going to capture the flag for you or whatever hill that you're on and you're not even on it. I mean, that's kind of cheese. Nonetheless, there's also a grenade slot that actually has like a dart that you throw that's going to be like a kind of like floats. You kind of just send a paper plane over to the opponent with a Semtex attached to it. I personally think that that might be like a kill streak reward. I could see that being a good 3 or 4. I don't know how I feel about this being like a throwable lethal equipment that I could just replenish with a munitions box. For example, I was already breaking this equipment using search and destroy, flashbang the door open, and then just throw my paper plane in there. And it's like literally they're free. They're an absolute free sample for a free kill. It's guaranteed. And there's even a car in there. So when you're on defense, I mean, it's just like absolutely ridiculous. Something that they did that was really good and innovative, especially coming from a Valorant player's standpoint, is that when you get flashbanged, if it's in front of you, you turn away real quick and don't look at the flashbang. Well, you won't get the effect of the flashbang destroying your screen and destroying your retinas with blue screens. And from a 30-year-old gamer's perspective that has to wear glasses now because I stare at screens too much, I hate getting flashbanged. Tweaks that they put inside of the game that actually kind of balance things out slightly, even like this much. I think it's great. Now let's talk about some of the core mechanics like the gunplay and the movement. The strafing speeds are actually pretty good. Depending on what equipment you use and what you have enabled, it actually is quite fast. The movement is super smooth. I think it's just as smooth as 2019. However, the tack sprint doesn't happen automatically after a slide cancel, which is back, thank God. But we don't have the double bunny hop anymore, which is okay. I mean, I did like having that in Modern Warfare 2's beta. I don't know if you guys remember, but in MW2's beta, they actually had bouncing in it. However, I noticed when you're jumping up and down, there is some sort of a punishment with your ADS. In other words, if you're expecting to just bounce up and down while you're ADSing, it almost seems as if you're going to be punished for that. However, sliding is effective and it is an actual movement mechanic now, and it's not just some broken mechanic accidentally thrown in the game. The time to kill in the game is absolutely perfect. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. I think it sits pretty right where that Black Ops Cold War time to kill was, which is actually one of my favorite time to kills of any Call of Duty game. It seems like it's in that nice like 150 health depending on where you hit, and the headshot multiplier actually isn't overpowered. There are times where sometimes you'll get a lucky flinch and bounce up into a headshot multiplier, and it doesn't seem as if that's happening as much inside of this game, which means that there's a lot of balancing within the multipliers inside of the game thus far. We don't know what's enabled yet, and sometimes Call of Duty will just sprinkle the cheese in later on in the game, you know what I mean? Put a little Parmesan on top of your game. But for right now, it looks like the headshot multiplier is tamed. You won't flinch into like an extremely fast time to kill. It actually creates better gunfights. I enjoy that, and I really appreciate that. Seriously, Sledgehammer, thank you. All the gun swapping feels pretty good. All the guns look, sound, and feel very clean. I'm very impressed with all the reticles. The elo sights look really nice. I even saw some of the camos, and damn, dude, they do look very good. Except for the sniper. The sniper is very fun to use, and I absolutely love it. It was my favorite weapon during the entire beta, but it has the aesthetic of a frozen hot dog. Not a fan of that, but, you know, I'm sure we're going to get better MSRs. Hopefully later on in the game. Now, the gunsmith is still a little bit overcomplicated for my liking, and there were some attachments that I put on the weapon that were supposed to do things that I did not see them doing. For example, all of these snipers have different attachments on them, but the ADS speed seems to be about the same. I don't know what I have to do, and I'm really crossing my fingers this doesn't come down to tuning, because I really think that when you overcomplicate a lot of the gunsmith and a lot of creating the guns, that it takes away from the complications of the game itself. In other words, I want complex gameplay. I don't want complex like side quests within the game to make sure my sniper hits like a quick scope. That's just me though. I personally don't like that, but that's Call of Duty and it's the way they're leaning, and it is what it is. But the moral of the story is this is mostly good news, and I think that a lot of the movement and fluidity back inside of Call of Duty is something that everybody needed. It's very refreshing. It's not overpowered. It's not annoying. It's not going to destroy the casual player, but it is also going to make a very good, more in-depth gameplay for anybody that wants that. Now I want to talk about this new perk system. Is it something that we absolutely needed? No. Did the old perk systems work? Kinda. But this is kind of cool. I don't mind it. I don't think that having like actual equipment in place of having a perk is a problem at all. I think that it might have just been like a creative decision to have like gloves that affect the way that your hands move, and, you know, your boots affecting the way that your movement works or how silent or loud you are. And also having like side equipment like headphones that make it so maybe you counter dead silence or the sketchers that they give you. I don't know. But personally, I think it's a pretty cool system. I don't think that it's something that's like in need of an overhaul, but I also think that it was like a little minor sprinkle, like a little tweak that they did inside of the game that I can really actually appreciate. I don't think this is terrible, but I do think going down the road, I want to see how the balancing works, and I want to make sure that all the perks are in the correct spot. A lot of the times we get really unbalanced and weird perks that just like happen to pop up inside of the game and they don't belong inside of that slot. Sometimes that can really make or break a game, and I'm really crossing my fingers that competitively it just actually balances. So this way, if they do have a ranked mode, that it's going to be an enjoyable experience. Said, I do want to say that Dead Silence is back, and I really appreciate that, because all of the campers are really upset to hear that, but Dead Silence belongs in Call of Duty. And if you don't like that, then sorry guys, it's been in there since 2007 all the way up to 2018 in some form, and I hope that never goes away again. And speaking of Dead Silence, I just want to talk about how good the game actually sounds. The footsteps aren't too loud, nor are they absolutely ridiculously muffled. The vertical and spatial audio in the game actually sounds like it's geared to make me aware. It's not geared to just sound great, it's actually geared to be functional, and I appreciate that immensely. Now, I do think that Call of Duty needs to chill out with the intros being so goddamn loud all the time. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I feel as though I'm standing in front of a monitor at a stadium with a Metallica concert going off in both of my ears, and then once the game starts, well, it ain't that loud at all. I mean, just EQ. Figure the EQ out, my guys. And I actually really appreciate the way the headshot sound is. It's just like, it's rewarding. It sounds arcadey. It sounds fun. It sounds like it wasn't meant to be super realistic sounding, but it sounds like super rewarding.
On your six! Threat neutralized!
The sound mechanics of this game, personally, I really do appreciate them. Some of them are left over from Modern Warfare 2, and you kind of just expect that. It's a Modern Warfare game and they want to keep a theme. I'm okay with that. It's not the biggest deal. But I do think they also introduced some things inside of the game that I didn't hear before, and I appreciate right now. As I mentioned, I do play Valorant very often, so I'm accustomed to playing against players that are better than me or the same level as me, but it is also in the chase for a measurable growth and or reward. Where skill-based matchmaking inside of public matches don't necessarily do that, they almost punish you. All that I'm asking for is, much like Valorant, I would love to have a ranked mode so I can bypass the skill-based matchmaking public matches that really aren't public matches anymore. They're essentially unranked, ranked matches. I don't know what my rank is, but it is affecting my ping. It is affecting my connection. It's affecting my mental health. I'm 31 years old. I can't help the fact that I know how to play this game because I understand the rotations and all of these maps are familiar to me. Do not have a reason why I should be playing against pros. I am not a pro. However, in the last 3 years, I have played against more CDL pros or retired CDL pros than I can count on one hand. I don't belong there. It's a public match. I'm not on the same skill set as Tyler TP. But yet my public matches, I'm playing against Tyler. And all I'm asking for is a early ranked mode for Modern Warfare 3. So this way, if I do feel like actually trying, it doesn't destroy my MMR and make it pubs a terrible experience for me. This way I can sweat over here and I can have some nice casual fun with my friends over here. 2 different environments, 2 different play styles. That's all I'm asking for. I don't want to complain too much about skill-based matchmaking because it is kind of beating a dead horse. It's never going to change. It's never going to go anywhere. It benefits at least 60% of the player base. It just really sucks when you play better than 60% of the player base, but you're just being punished and blindfolded and punished and blindfolded. There were times where I was on a 10 kill streak in Search and Destroy, and in my head, as I was on that 10 kill streak in Search and Destroy, I was thinking, where am I in Starfield? Because I know my next experience is going to be horrible. And I was absolutely right. So all that I ask is that, like, if I am going to have moments where I do feel like kind of pushing my chair in and leaning forward, that I can do it in a ranked mode where it's actually going to amount to something. Going pretty good so far, right, guys? I mean, a Call of Duty critic like myself, you would expect me to start bashing away at this game, right? Well, now when somebody says, what do you think about when I say the words Call of Duty? I don't immediately think, oh, good spawns, of course. But I also do feel as though if they're going to celebrate a 20-year anniversary, we maybe need to start talking about how we fix these spawns. Spawns are not good, dude. I mean, I have had some very atrocious spawns that like I've clipped out of like laughing. But again, if they're going to start introducing ranked modes, I'm going to get really annoyed if these spawns are going to be like my hard point spawns. Just kind of arbitrary. But again, I don't think that Call of Duty is notorious for spawns. And I think that even like most FPS games just kind of struggle to have a really good spawning system. But we have all of this innovation right now with AI and how it's been, you know, getting involved inside of games. I'm really hoping that the AI can actually really find good spawn points that would work inside of the game for specific maps, for specific players, in specific times. And maybe that's actually going to give a little nudge toward, you know, having actually good respawns in FPS games in general. Programmers, if you could do it, someone will pay. Hear me out, I don't want any casual controller players to run away from what I'm about to say. I've been playing on keyboard and mouse since 2019, and that's really just because I did not want to be a jack of all trades and I wanted to be a master of a single input. I've been playing a lot of games like Valorant and CSGO and a little bit of Escape from Tarkov, and I really just wanted to become good at this and not just be trying to be decent at both. I didn't really do it for any type of advantages other than the fact that I think that keyboard and mouse is just kind of fun. Plugged a controller into Modern Warfare 3, and well, here's the result. Oh my god, dude, that instant track.
Be advised, UAV is exiting the area.
I'm not bad at playing on controller by any means, and I understand the perspective of a controller player because I actually played on controller for quite some time before I made a permanent swap. With that said, Call of Duty is not a controller game. It is a controller and keyboard and mouse cross-accessible game. We need to start talking about balancing and maybe having the different types of aim assist is kind of what's like exploitable along with like the rotational aim assist that many people just exploit, especially PC players. I think just like anything in life, there just needs to be a certain amount of something before it becomes too much. But I also think that it's really nice that this is a little bit more responsive. My mouse felt way more responsive inside of this game with very little lag, and especially, like I said, coming from a game like Valorant, that feels amazing. My sniping flicks felt very, very, very good. Now, they weren't quite guided on training wheels the way they felt when I was playing on controller. However, they felt smooth and I felt very in control. The keyboard response is also very good. My slide cancels felt very crispy. They felt very responsive, even with that little delay that we have that I wonder if they're going to get rid of. I don't know. Moral of the story is that aim assist belongs. How much aim assist belongs, I don't know, but I do think that we have a lot of variables going on right now with like dynamic, classic, and having Black Ops aim assist types. I don't know if we have to boil this down to like having a certain amount of aim assist per, I don't know, rank, or even what your skill-based matchmaking bracket is gives you a certain amount of aim assist. I don't know. I do feel as though it is very strong, and when pros like Tyler, TP, and Scump have actually addressed it and said higher levels, there's no shot that anybody playing on keyboard and mouse has a single shot against a seasoned controller player, then that means that there's some balancing issues. Pros versus cons, and we're going to have the very hard discussion at the end of the video. The footsteps are great. The time to kill is amazing. The maps are proven good. The reg is good. The speed is good. The tempo is good. The movement's good. Everything is fluid. The mechanics are here. The guns are great. The game sounds great. The game is more vivid than a normal Infinity Ward desaturated, depressing looking gray-brown blob. And speaking of visuals, the visual clutter is actually set down. Water smacking my face mask when I'm playing the game or smoke coming out of my gun. Obviously, this did not fall on deaf ears because Sledgehammer listened to us. Sledgehammer listening, in my opinion, is probably the best part of this game. Infinity Ward, who just decides to take things out of the game because they just want to. Do you not see what Call of Duty has just done to us? Create a problem, sell a solution. They took away things like red dot blips, movement, map voting, an actual good tempo to the game, dead silence, visual clarity, good maps. Modern Warfare 2 took all of that away, and then suddenly they have the solution that's just right here called Modern Warfare 3, which has Modern Warfare 2 maps in it, which we probably expected in 2022. Obviously, we didn't get that, so now they're reciprocating this by giving us everything that they took away from the game that absolutely flopped, putting a $70 price tag on it. This is where my consumer moralities actually conflict with my nostalgia and my love for gaming. Because I do love a good Call of Duty, but I also do think that $70 2 times to get Modern Warfare for my third time just seems like an absolute fucking scheme. I'm so conflicted with this game, guys, because I do want to tip the hat at Sledgehammer so badly for doing everything we finally asked for. Sledgehammer Gaming literally just said, I'm listening, I'm giving you everything you need, I'm giving you guaranteed ingredients for a good Call of Duty, please buy the game. Everybody bought Modern Warfare 2 and they made $1 billion off of it. That game was terrible. Should we give this game a chance? Because Call of Duty can easily just make a game in the next year or so after this that takes all of it away again. I don't fucking trust them. I haven't played a Call of Duty beta this fun and this good since Blackout. In my opinion, the trajectory of Modern Warfare 3 is in nothing but great directions, and you should buy. If you are a long time loving Call of Duty fan and you don't really care about the politics behind it or any of the features that piss people off, you just want to have a great time playing Call of Duty again, buy it. But if you're a nerd like me and you really dig into games like the way that I just did for you guys, know that you should be cautiously optimistic about this game. And that's really the best way that I could put it. Next video, I'm probably going to talk about the Microsoft buyout and how that could affect Call of Duty or not affect Call of Duty. And let me know your thoughts if you played the beta or if I changed your mind on anything, or just let you know anything that you needed to know about this game, or even if you want me to talk on different subjects about this game, I'm very open to it. Let me know your thoughts if you played the beta or if I changed your mind on anything, or just let you know anything that you needed to know about this game, or even if you want me to talk on different subjects about this game, I'm very open to it. Leave me a comment inside of there and I will let you know what I think about certain features if I left anything out.